What's going on, guys? It's your boy Az. We are back here. We're going to be running another difficulty 8, but this time we are going to be running the Scourges, and of course it seems like everyone's having some issues with some of the city nodes, so I'll quickly show my Scourges here, and then we'll run into the roster. But most of these are fairly straightforward. I find that the Drain and these ability energy ones are freebies. 5% damage, increased energy for your specials and your ultimates. Blinded by power, we're gonna keep that one away since that one can really screw around with our ultimates, or excuse me, after the ultimates. Dark Rally, power fatigue, that one we can actually check off. I feel like we can get away with that one. I added the Drain as well. I feel like the Drain doesn't really make too much of a difference for these, hopefully. And then that's it. If you guys need to pause and look at it, feel free to do that, but we're not gonna spend too much time on the Scourges. And I'll show it again here, maybe at the end of the video, so you guys can have a look. But for this one, lots of people are saying that they're having issues with it, so we're going to hopefully get through this node smoothly. So we'll break up the video into some parts, so that way you guys aren't watching too many of this. But we go in with Cloak and Dagger, and I'm running it now quickly here to see if the RNG is in our favor. But Cloak and Dagger and Shang-Chi are my stars. And then we have Spider-Man there because he's fast, and he can also apply some quick little negatives at the start because he's so fast. So we'll get a little onslaught of attacks there for a little bit, but not the end of the world. We got Squirrel Girl, excuse me, as our healer here, so she should be able to take off some of these negatives to help us out. And we'll see if we can chain and get some speed and defense down. And it looks like everybody resists. Cloak uses his wonderful ultimate, and then of course we have Shang-Chi here, and everybody is actually pretty blinded, so this is where a lot of people I think get away with using his ultimate, and in this case you're better off saving it. So we didn't increase the health on these guys, so that means for the most part they're going to be fairly squishy, and it means we can usually take these guys down smoothly, so keep that in mind as well. Oh, sorry, I cut out there because I actually got into my phone actually got a little wonky, but apologies for that, cut out there. So for the most part they're squishy, their health is quite low. We didn't increase their health, very similar to the last Scourge run. Increasing the health can really screw around with your with the planning, and I think it helps at a certain point, but for the most part you're better off leaving them at the current health, whatever the Scourge was. If you increase it, it's going to really screw around with the process. So right here, when we use that Shang-Chi ultimate, that's it, guys. One nice smooth ult, and this is where it's important too. Magneto is actually pretty he's pretty beefy on his own actually, so you're better off leaving him last. And then if he actually blinds us, he's actually doing us a favor, because what ends up happening is then he'll actually help build us up our cooldowns for the next wave. So if you guys wait here and see, I'll hopefully show you guys what I'm talking about. So he blinds everybody. Cloak and Dagger, all their assists missed, and then of course our negatives as well also get lengthened because of the fact that they have the we have that specific Scourge. So it actually, I think it's actually a turn longer. I could be wrong here, but so Cloak goes again, miss, and then of course Dagger goes again here, miss because she's blinded, and then Cloak gets an assist, of course. So the blind actually really screws with us if he was actually with his allies, but right now because he's on his own, it actually helps us out quite a bit. So there you guys have it there, nice and easy there. That is the first node running this city team, and of course we don't get any turn bonuses or anything like that, but we do get the wonderful 170 points, and of course if you multiply that by 10, we're gonna hopefully get 1.7 or something like that at the end of this. So that is for the first node. We'll quickly jump into the second node here, and the second node's also a little wonky, where I was testing around with a lot of different teams, and I found that you have to get a little. Sometimes it is RNG based, but we want to make sure Squirrel Girl isn't in this one, because if it gets wiped, we can always clean up with our symbiotes, because there is a Hela on this node. So we're gonna do that. And what I did was I actually I had to cut off some of the other footage, because I was throwing this team in there for the correct RNG, so I actually just skipped that so you guys didn't have to see it. But of course RNG always plays a factor in any fight, so of course you want to make sure they're not ganking down Shang-Chi. And even if you guys look at the placement, I actually had to put him kind of in that corner there. And of course, the only one that gets that benefit from being on Dagger's side is Shang-Chi. But it was worth it because everybody, for some weird reason, kept trying to focus Shang-Chi, which is just bizarre. I mean, obviously the AI is targeting what I feel like they know is an important character. So get that offense down on Gambit, because once he releases that ultimate of his or his special, it's pretty dangerous. So we'll get Shang-Chi's ultimate there. He's going to unleash it. That's going to basically take down a lot of health for these guys. And then, of course, the finishing touch from Dagger here pretty much brings all these guys into the red. And right here, even if we got cleared, now the symbiotes can come in and they can actually clean up health. Symbiotes or web warriors. So having a broad roster is actually going to really benefit on this node. But of course, we do have some pretty powerful city characters, and I have a lot of confidence in the Cloak and Dagger Shang-Chi pair because they are tier 16. I did take them up for Dark Dimension 5. So I'm very confident in their abilities. And I feel like overall, even with these Scourges, I do feel like the difficulty of these guys are still not up to the level in terms of damage or the health of the Dark Dimension 5 guys. So for sure, very nice that these characters that I've leveled up in Dark Dimension 5, we're using them again here. So Morbius does his thing. So once you take out some of those baddies like Gambit, who was it? I forget who else was on there. That was annoying. But yeah, once you get through here, you can kind of see this board's just absolutely owned. We actually have Scarlet Spider here because, not Scarlet Spider, Ghost Spider here, because I found that if you are able to get that blind off and then you're able to lengthen and use her ultimate, she can spread it off to other characters as well. So that's kind of the reason why I chose her. I'm not 100% sure if she even really made much of an impact. You probably could have another 5th member here, but she was there. She applied the ability block. She didn't do too bad herself. And of course now we can pretty much just auto basic here till the end. And I think for the most part, I think you guys get it. As long as you have some decent RNG and a fairly leveled up team here, we did pretty solid ourselves here. And what I'll do is I'll quickly show you guys. I'll show you guys the roster once we are done here, so that way you guys can kind of see their power level. But everybody is fairly leveled up here due to the fact that we took these guys up to tier 16. And of course we took Doc Ock in as well here, put him in between Shang-Chi because, like I said, they were just focusing him, and I figured you slot him beside Doc Ock, he might get that extra deflect to help keep him alive. And luckily for us, it worked out. So yeah, hopefully this makes sense. We aren't going to get any turn bonuses, but I think you guys get the picture here that it's fairly easy to one-shot with our specific team. And I think a lot of people are trying to figure out what teams to use. So this is the team that's been working out for me. And as you guys already saw earlier, we have like 200 Scourges on, and this team actually gets through quite well. So I'll show you guys the roster. Obviously, having lots of tier 16 characters is advantageous, and I'm not telling you guys that it's going to be easy if you do get the tier 16 characters. I think it's always going to require a little bit of RNG as well. But as you guys see here, one shot it there in 02. And of course, we also did the same thing with Node 1 as well, with our variant, Shang-Chi, Cloak Dagger, Spider-Man, and Squirrel Girl. So that's the variant there. And give me 2 secs here. I'll show you guys again. You can pause if you need to kind of look at all the Scourges here, but I already kind of showed you guys at the beginning. I mean, it's just a bunch here that I picked. Hopefully they make sense. I feel like hopefully when we do the other ones, these ones won't be too much of a heartache or a headache for you guys. So anyways, let's take a quick look at the roster. Okay, so I'm just filtering through City so you guys can see which ones we use, but obviously ignore Jessica Jones and Nico. I was trying to get them up, and I'm still kind of deciding I want to pump anything more into them. But we use Shang-Chi, tier 16, level 85, ISO weight level 3. Obviously having him at tier 16 and 6 red is going to really pack his ultimate with a lot of punch. Then we used Doc Ock as well, for the sole reason that we do have him leveled up to tier 16. We used him for the legendary nodes for Dark Dimension 5. And of course as well, we T4'd everything, and he's level 85 as well. Squirrel Girl, we used her initially just as a healer. I think it makes sense already. I think a lot of people are going to have her leveled up, and I'm still deciding if I want to bring her up to tier 16. We'll see as we progress through this new Scourge difficulty 8 with all those 200 and some Scourges. We had Cloak in here, again level 85, maxed out. Haven't pumped any more levels into him, but you know, it can't hurt. It can't hurt for sure. T Ford, and he's 7 red, or sorry, 7 yellow, 5 red. Miles, you're not part of this. Get out of here. You got Dagger here. She's same sort of dealio as Cloak. She's tier 16 as well. I used her in Dark Dimension 5, and she's also not fully maxed out yet, but you can get her shards in the arena store now, so that's kind of nice. What else do we have here? Oh yes, right, we brought in Spider-Man for the first node. He can stun. He's fast. Level 85, tier 15. Of course, everyone has him leveled up from probably the last Scourge as well. If not, people are already using him in Doom 2. Solid in War defense and Crucible defense as well. And yeah, I think he's level 85. Blah 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 blah. I think I already said that. Ghost Spider, ability block. She can spread the negatives. Not really much else to say about her other than the fact that it's nice we got her in the raids. We can get the shards off of her for the raid season. Hopefully I can get her up to 7 yellow soon. And then I think we had Ghost Rider there. He's just more in a fill-in piece, but if you guys have somebody else that's better, he was just applying the bleeds. Bleeds are really good for spreading that damage out. He's level 85. We bumped him up quite a bit too from the last Scourge, tier 14. 7 yellow, 5 red. And that's it, guys. That's the roster. Hopefully helps you guys out. Hopefully gives you guys an idea of how I get through the city section with fairly decent RNG and not too much of a difficulty. And I'll catch you guys in the next section.